All these newscasters, they're all doing their own hair.
Your hair looks so good.
I'm almost brunette. Yeah, fuck it.
Hi everyone, I am beyond excited to be speaking to one of the most brilliant actresses of all time. Michelle Pfeiffer is, one of my favorite actresses. I was so intrigued to see what she was going to do when I read that she was doing a clean fragrance line. We're going to learn about her journey, the challenges she faced, and how she got started with Henry Rose. With no further ado.
How is it that you and I never worked together?
It's unbelievable because I have always wanted to do your makeup. I feel like we're weirdly in this very similar boat with our clean brands.
Well, I'm super excited about your makeup line. Thank you for sending me those.
I wanted to ask you, Michelle, what was it that sparked this idea in you?
So my journey started right after the birth of my children. I started looking at the world around me and in an effort to protect them, because before that, I didn't give a rat's ass about what I ate. I smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, Coca-Cola. And at that time, this is 27 years ago, and it's not like today. There wasn't a lot of information out there. There were not a lot of resources like there are today. One day I discovered the Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep database. It was like the heavens opened up. Finally, there was some place where I could go and find information, and I could put in ingredients that were in the products that we were presently using. I could look for safer options. And the one thing that kept coming up was fragrance. I would find a product and the toxicity level would be fairly good. I'd be like, oh, good. And then all of a sudden fragrance would be off the charts. Searched for a quote unquote natural fragrance to wear because I love perfume, and I couldn't find anything. So I simply stopped wearing it for about 10 years. And after about 10 years, I decided that I was going to try and see if I could develop a fine fragrance that could compete in the traditional marketplace. Initially, I went to a few cosmetic companies and they looked at me like I had 3 heads. I was going nowhere with this. So I kind of put it on the shelf. About 4 years ago, I reached out to Ken Cook again. He said to me, the climate has really changed now, and you might want to consider going straight to the fragrance houses. And I thought he was nuts. I thought, why would a perfume house make this product with me? He said, well, you might be surprised. I went to the International Fragrance and Flavors, IFF. They welcomed me with open arms, started formulating. I'm skipping over a lot of, it was torture, I'm not going to lie. Very steep learning curve. My idea was, I want to do an all organic formulation with only naturals, essential oils. And Ken said, that's great, you can do that, but you won't get EWG verified. What I didn't understand is the issue of allergens. Say you're allergic to roses, and like if you go outside and roses are blooming, you're going to maybe get a migraine or you're going to sneeze a lot. Well, imagine the concentrated oil of a rose. 30% of the population have pretty severe sensitivities, and it runs a range, but where if they walk into a room and there's a candle burning, they're going to have a migraine all day. It's really going to disrupt their life. I was deflated because I thought, well, that was my whole product.
I did the same thing. I started off and I wanted to create an organic makeup line, but that doesn't work. It doesn't last. And just all of these things, when you said you approached the EWG, it's so hard to even know how to begin when you want to do something differently. And I remember when I started my line, I was really adamant about not having silicones. Everybody tried to convince me that silicones were fine and, just 20% is fine. It's fine. It's not dangerous. It's okay. Following my intuition and sticking to my guides, I feel like that has been my biggest tool.
Before I met with IFF, I had actually started at another fragrance house, and I worked with them for about a year, and we were actually making some headway. They decided that no, they couldn't be 100% transparent with the ingredients, and they never said that to me. They said they're like, we never said that. I'm like, you did. I had a choice. Okay, you compromise your vision, or you start all over with someone else. So happy that I did.
It's kind of great for the companies that we work with also, because they're educating themselves. They're relearning because of people like you. For you, Michelle, what role do safe synthetic ingredients play in your fragrance?
One of the things I learned about is because of the allergy issue with the plant-based ingredients. A safe synthetic is going to be a safer choice and a safer option for people. And that was also one of the reasons I was so grateful to be working with the Environmental Working Group. And then when we brought on Cradle to Cradle, because I felt like, look, I'm not an expert. If I can develop a product that meets the high safety standards of these two organizations, I'm good.
I love that you have less than 300 ingredients.
Typically, perfumers have a palette of about 3,000 to choose from. EWG had their restrictions. Cradle to Cradle had theirs. IFF had theirs. We ended up starting with about 250 ingredients. It's not a lot. They'd have to remove this or they'd have to reduce this, and very complex process. And it was an incredible collaboration between these three organizations and the perfumers. It was the first time that IFF had ever worked with the Environmental Working Group. It was the first time that Cradle to Cradle had ever collaborated with EWG.
You brought them all together to be able to do that. That is extraordinary. I wasn't aware of the collaborative aspect.
They all learned from each other.
And I have to tell you, your fragrances are so beautiful. I'm especially really into Torn.
That's my favorite.
And I love also that you wrote on your little card, all intrigue and zero mystery.
The more and more transparency we have, and because of the learning from each other, we were able to create up 50 more ingredients. Now that doesn't sound like a ton, but when you're trying to formulate fragrances, it was huge to us. We're really excited about Smith.
I love that name.
We came up with that name because there was a apple tree in the house that I used to live. It was a Smith apple tree. When it was filled with blossoms, it would just give off this incredible aroma. One of my new favorite layering combinations is Jake's House and Smith. I don't know what happens when you put those two together, but it is really good.
How did you come up with the name Henry Rose? Such a beautiful name.
A couple of people had mentioned naming it after my kids, and I actually had thought about it, and I just dismissed it because I've been very strict in life about respecting their private life. I mean, they didn't come to a premiere until they were teenagers, and finally I ran out of time, and I went to them, said, hey, how would you guys feel about this? And they said, okay.
What is your next venture after this?
We are moving into skincare slowly. You launched about 2 years ago, is that right?
Yeah, we launched 2 years ago with Barney's. We said we wanted to launch our brand and it was going to be refillable. And they told us that wasn't their customer, that's not going to work. And because David, my husband, and I funded the brand ourselves, we couldn't necessarily afford to just launch and knowing that they said that's not their customer, that didn't seem like the best idea. So now we are working on making our products refillable. They will.
That's great. Yeah.
Slowly become refillable. But again, it's kind of like one of those things that we wanted to do and we listened to other people.
Yeah, you learn and the whole sustainability part of it, and with our packaging and all of that would have, honestly, I was so laser focused on the personal safety of the product. I honestly wasn't thinking about the sustainability part, and Cradle to Cradle really brought that in, and I have learned so much about that.
I went to the packaging show. It's called Lux Pack in Monaco. Really, really amazing. And we were able to, at the last minute, the last appointment we had, and we were super tired, both of us, I said, are you sure you don't have a more sustainable material than this plastic that you're proposing? We were fully, underway with this particular project. And they said, oh, we do have Bascom. I was like, what is that? It's the waste of sugar cane that's from Brazil and it's completely sustainable. So I decided to use that instead.
This is the other thing is, and this is also what started this for me, is that people more and more, they just don't know who to trust. In the green space, for lack of a better word, I don't really like using that because it doesn't really mean anything. Natural is another one, and there's so much greenwashing, as you know, and we are really, really committed to not doing that. And we're not a natural product, and we've never, people keep calling us that. They keep calling us organic, and I keep saying, no, we are not organic.
I really want to know, is this an extension of your lifestyle? Henry Rose, are you very clean? And
yeah, all of it is really important. Exercise is, for me, in my life, it's critical. The difference in the way I look and the way I feel, both physically and mentally, most importantly, is night and day when I'm exercising.
What's your exercise of choice, or do you mix it up?
I hate it all. I got to be honest. I hate exercising. I don't like it. Pilates, I do some running, kind of mix it up.
Are you vegetarian or do you eat meat?
Vegan-ish, but with fish. It'll be different. In 6 months, I'll be doing something else.
So do you have any vices? Do you drink coffee?
I actually love coffee, and I am a coffee drinker, but I quit coffee like 3 weeks ago. I almost had a cup of coffee before this interview because I really felt like my brain was not firing, but I'm hoping that it helps me sleep better. I've been making fresh mint and chopped up ginger in boiling water, and I just make my own tea in the morning. It's not like having a cup of coffee, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's really good.
I just wanted to end with saying I'm so grateful for your time, Michelle.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
I can't wait to try Smith and Jake's house together.
Let me know how you like it.